prvom bloku sa predstavia dvaja zahraniční a dvaja slovenskí hostia. Rád by som medzi nami privítal najskôr návštevu z Vatikánu Jurija Tykhovlisa z Dikastéria na podporu integrálneho ľudského rozvoja, ktoré sa venuje ochrane dôstojnosti človeka, ľudských práv, spravodlivosti a podpore tých, ktorí sú vystavení chudobe, migrácii, sociálnemu a humanitárnemu vylúčeniu. Juriy Tykhovlis, právnik pôvodom z Ukrajiny, je v rámci Dikastéria regionálnym koordinátorom pre východnú Európu. Pán Tykhovlis, vítajte na Slovensku. Sme radi, že ste medzi nami a nech sa páči. Priestor je váš.
Thank you very much. I'm going to speak in English. So I apologize that I'm not that fluent in Slovak, even so I understand almost everything. But before I start, I'd like to introduce the institution wherein I work with a short video, with a 7 minutes video, in order to be capable to also contextualize my speech. Would it be possible to start with the video, please? Thank you very much.
All-powerful God, you are present in the whole universe and in the smallest of your creatures.
Tu che circondi con la tua tenerezza tutto quanto esiste.
Pour out upon us the power of your love, that we may protect life and beauty.
Inondaci di pace, perché viviamo come fratelli e sorelle senza nuocere a nessuno. O Dio dei poveri, aiutaci a riscattare gli abbandonati e i dimenticati di questa terra, che tanto valgono ai tuoi occhi.
Integral human development is the name for what all of us want. Development is what everyone wants for themselves, for their family, for their people. That is a meaning of life itself.
Non è sicuramente crescita economica, non è tendere ad avere sempre di più, non è legato solo alle dimensioni materiali di una persona. Sviluppo umano integrale significa sviluppo di tutta la persona in tutte le sue dimensioni e di tutte le persone, nessuno escluso.
Our dicastery works in 3 steps. The first step is to listen.
It is the section that creates a two-way bridge between the local churches and the dicastery.
Il punto più importante per noi, per essere in dialogo in maniera che noi siamo a servizio, non siamo sopra le chiese locali, è proprio quello di ascoltare, di capire cosa sta succedendo e di capire quali sono i bisogni più profondi.
We try to listen to the local churches. We try to listen to the bishops and those who work with them to see what are the obstacles that people face in that place, the obstacles to their integral human development.
Ostacoli legati al degrado ambientale, non si può vivere dove non si riesce neanche a respirare. Ostacoli legati alla mancanza di lavoro, a non essere trattati in maniera degna quando si lavora, ma quasi come schiavi.
The challenge is always seeing these people struggling, frustrated, being abused, living under violence, and not really being able to assist in the immediate. So it requires a lot of patience. Well, I pray to always be patient, and I'm not sure, though sometimes our contacts are not very patient, because when a person is burning, it's difficult to be patient.
The second step is to reflect on these sufferings.
Sembra una catena di montaggio, ma non lo è. Si lavora molto insieme e si è divisi per le competenze che ciascuno deve avere in ogni sezione.
La sessione ricerca e riflessione cerca di identificare degli esperti in università, in centri di ricerca, che stanno lavorando con i temi che le chiese ci portano come preoccupazioni, come priorità. Facciamo una rete per arrivare a degli strumenti che possono tornare alle chiese come un servizio.
And we call these concrete orientations, pastoral orientation. It's to help the bishop and his co-workers to accompany their people in facing their challenges.
Le sfide ci mettono in movimento, il fascino è quello, da una parte avere davanti delle complessità, delle realtà come guerre, come ingiustizie, e dall'altra essere a contatto con degli esperti, con dei progetti, delle organizzazioni che davvero stanno facendo qualcosa, stanno muovendo dei processi, e questo porta speranza.
And then the third step is to give back what we have learned to the church that shared with us, and at the same time to make this learning available throughout the church, around the world, and to the larger public.
Noi come sezione comunicazione abbiamo l'opportunità di dare la voce agli ultimi, davvero riportare gli ultimi al centro. È una sfida, è faticoso, perché in un mondo dove 90 voci dicono di avere paura dell'altro, essere quella che dice accogliamo il prossimo, accogliamo l'altro non è facile. In un mondo dei social anche, dove è molto più facile comunicare qualcosa di negativo perché va subito virale, essere la voce che dice qualcosa di buono si può fare, anche se è più faticoso, ovviamente è più difficile arrivare, però quando lo fa porta davvero tantissimi frutti.
My hope for our dicastery is expressed maybe in this cross which I wear. It's made from the wood of an old fishing boat that migrants used to try to reach Europe, to reach Lampedusa. My hope for our dicastery is to help the Church to recognize how Christ is crucified in all the different places and in all the different challenges of the world, and to accompany the people in their suffering, and to bring Christ's love, His mercy, to them in their difficulties, so that they may feel blessed and especially given the gift of hope.
Thank you very much. Stop. So with your permission, I will see it. And as the video was introducing, there are three sections in our dicastery. Dicastery from Latin means the ministry, the institution, the curial entity, which serves for institutional reasons within the structure of Roman Curia. So our dicastery was, which called Dicastery for Promoting Integral Human Development, is actually divided on three sections, as Cardinal Czerny explained: listening and dialogue, wherein I am responsible for Eastern Europe. The second section is research and reflection, and their work is divided on, I'd say, topic-based. They treat different several arguments and topics and issues throughout the world. Actually, 360 degrees of social doctrine of the Church and they collaborate actively with Catholic institutions, research centers, universities, and academia to find solutions to elaborate guidelines and orientations for local churches and Catholic organizations on issues that challenge the most. And the third section is communication, and they are the people who are engaged in promoting the results of the work of our dicastery, as well as promoting so-called awareness-raising campaigns dedicated to the Pope's messages on the World Days of Peace, Migrants and Refugees, Environmental Protection, the World Day for Poor, and the message for the land. So, coming to myself, I'm the regional coordinator for Eastern Europe, the Slavic-speaking Europe. I'm Ukrainian myself, and my background, I'm a lawyer. I'm an anti-trafficking lawyer, and my specialization is counteracting human trafficking and smuggling of migrants. When I remember back in 2019, when Slovakia presided the OSCE and the Council of Europe meetings on human trafficking, I came several times in Bratislava for that occasion because I represented Holy See at those meetings. So, and now I'm going to actually to deliver the message from the prefect of our dicastery, Cardinal Michael Czerny, to this meeting, and so I cordially ask you to borrow 10 minutes of your attention, and then I will be able to respond to the questions if you may have some. Your Excellencies, Reverend Fathers, dear colleagues, on the occasion of the conference connected with the 15th joint meeting of the commissions and the councils of the Slovakian Episcopal Conference and those in Slovakia involved in the social, charitable, and health-related sectors, taking place in Bratislava from 8 to 10 December 2025, I am pleased to offer you some words of encouragement for the invaluable work that you do at the service of the most vulnerable persons in your country. This message comes to you in the name of our entire dicastery for promoting integral human development, whose mission is to accompany the local church in all your ministries to the excluded and the marginalized. Your meeting takes place in the occasion of the World Day of Human Rights, and not by chance will conclude on the day that recalls the 77th anniversary of the adoption of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which occurred in New York on December 10th, 1948, a document that John Paul II defined a real milestone on the path of the moral progress of humanity. In the world wounded by two conflicts of worldwide proportions, the declaration responded to one of the highest aspirations of the peoples, that of constructing societies in which the dignity of every human person would be fully respected, protected, and valued. We know that this important declaration was followed by many treaties and conventions in order to codify more precisely the rights and liberties enunciated in the text of 1948, and to translate them into binding frameworks and legal instruments that would be ratified by the states. In addition, the international community has continued to create action plans aimed at implementing the commitment made at the multilateral level. These efforts include the creation and adoption of specific goals such as the Millennium Development Goals and the more recent Sustainable Development Goals, intending to steer national and international policies in a more supportive and sustainable direction. Yet, decades after the solemn adoption of the Universal Declaration of 1948, we continue to see various forms of the violation of human dignity of the rights rooted in that dignity. Among this, I think of the persistence of discrimination more or less latent against persons because of their religious beliefs, their belonging to ethnic or linguistic minorities, their gender, their social conditions, etc. I am also thinking of many forms of contemporary slavery, such as human trafficking or exploitation of workers, especially migrants. Additionally, I'm thinking of the very harsh living conditions of many who are deprived of personal freedom, not only in prisons, but also in detention centers for migrants and asylum seekers, which unfortunately also house minors, often unaccompanied. Finally, I must also mention the enormous economic and social disparities which within and between nations, which give rise to extreme injustices that should challenge the conscience of humanity as a whole. These situations demonstrate that international declarations and agreements, as well as national legislations and economic and social policies, also necessary, are unfortunately incapable alone of correcting the dysfunctions of society unless they are also accompanied by a conversion of hearts. In other words, in order to flourish fundamental rights to become a reality, we need to paraphrase Benedict XVI's words on development. Upright women and men who feel strongly in their hearts the call of the common good. We need women and men who are capable of piercing the wheel of indifference, who follow themselves to be touched by the suffering of their neighbor, to those to take concrete actions to help those in difficult situations to get back on their feet. How useful it would be if policies to confront poverty were always accompanied by cultural initiatives aimed at transforming the throwaway culture, still prevalent and growing today, into a culture of welcoming that would include everyone. In pointing out the enormous contradictions of our time, I must also say that indeed there are already those who are committed to integral human development on every level. For example, there are popular movements whose meeting in Rome the Holy Father addressed on 23rd October the last. I quote, "The Church must be with you, a poor church for the poor, a church that reaches out, a church that takes risks, a church that is courageous, prophetic and joyful, with cooperatives and projects which are formed to feed the hungry, give shelter to the homeless, rescue the shipwrecked, provide day care, create jobs, access land, and build houses." Remember that we are not serving an ideology, but truly living the gospel. That's exactly what Monsignor Rusnak was mentioning before. So there are seeds of hope planted throughout the church and the world. There are those who recognize in violations of human dignity, multiple and grave, the wounds of Christ crucified. There are those who, following the model of Good Samaritan, choose every day to bend down to help those who have fallen to get back up on their feet. Among these signs of hope, I include the charitable organizations of the Slovakian Church that daily go out of their way to alleviate the sufferings of the poor and needy and to help them to re-enter fully into society. For this precious service of yours, I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I'm sure that with the help of the Lord, your efforts will bring forth abundant fruits. Now, in the case of human rights, as well as integral human development, requires upright persons that then attention should be given to the formation of integral development of personnel. This formation should not only involve the necessary training to improve skills and technical expertise, but also it should include opportunities for development in human and spiritual dimensions. A focus on the whole person during training would help those working in the charitable sector to recognize in their neighbor not only someone in need of food, shelter, or care, but above all, to see the immensely sacred meaning of a person divinely created in the image and likeness of God. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Such a vision allows those working in the charitable sector to understand the nature of their work as a true mission, as a service that bears witness in the kingdom of God. Let us not forget that, as Pope Leo XIV states, I quote, "Christian holiness often flourishes in the most forgotten and wounded places of humanity, the poorest of the poor, those who lack not only material goods but also a voice and the recognition of their dignity, have a special place in the God's heart. They are the beloved of the gospel, the heirs of the kingdom. It is in them that Christ continues to suffer and rise again. It is in them that the Church rediscovers her call to show her most authentic self," end quote. During these days, let us reflect on how to deepen the ways that the charitable systems of Slovakian Church can be placed to welcome and encounter places where every person is not only helped materially but is also loved and valued. May these organizations always be open to dialogue and collaborative activity with persons belonging to other Christian denominations, with followers of other religions, and even with non-believers who are sincerely committed to serving justice and peace. In this way, these systems will be able to help build bridges between different cultures and religious sensibilities, and will be protagonists in building of universal fraternity. It is my heartfelt prayer that you experience your time together as fruitful days of work and mutual understanding, confident that if you unite your efforts and allow yourself to be inspired by the gospel, your mission will continue to the well-being of your beloved people, so that all may have life and have it abundantly. Finally, let me recommend for your careful reading, meditation and discussion the final section of Dilexite, dedicated to almsgiving today, the paragraphs 115-121. Here we read that Christian love breaks down every barrier, brings close those who were distant, unites strangers, and reconciles enemies. It spans chasms that are humanly impossible to breach, and it penetrates to the most hidden crevices of society. May such vision and zeal characterize all the ministries of your commissions and councils and of all those involved in the social, charitable, and health sectors. On these days, celebrating the solemnity of the Immaculate Conception of the Blessed Virgin Mary, I entrust your meeting to the Mother of God. Also in the name of His Holiness Pope Leo XIV, I invoke upon all of you and your families abundant blessings. Cardinal Michael Czerny. Thank you.